Welcome to Academy of Tone 228, our little recap from the Guitar Summit 2024 with Julian Preuss in the house.
Hi, I'm also here because of reasons, or because why not?
Why not reasons? No, it's good to have a partner for some memories. We have tons of things which I have great memories. And therefore it's good that Julian is here because, like, you have been there, I have been there, but I was busy on this side and you have been busy on the other side. So you have probably seen other things.
I guess you are busy, more busy than most of them out there, because you are having two workshops at the same time at Electric Stage and at our booth. And somehow you manage to do it. Yeah. Nobody knows how.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know either. But the schedule was very packed. And I don't mind because the whole Guitar Summit was simply killer. I have to admit that this was the biggest, best, and total guitar show ever, including the concerts. By the way, the intro song was from Friday Night with Jared James Nichols and his band. And of course using the AmpX prototype, because we are currently still working on it. And at a certain time, Julian will leave this place and we'll go back to the office, because tomorrow morning I want to hear something. And but for now, let's talk about what we have seen at the Guitar Summit. What do you have any quick impressions from, like, summary?
For me, the most remarkable impression was the interview with Bernd Kiesling.
Kills.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I think he came to our booth and wanted to do an interview with you.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't do it because I didn't have the time. So I was only doing the intro, and then I had the magic question, what's going on AmpX, hand over to Julian.
Yeah, and me, like, in the beginning I didn't understand anything at all, and then you were gone and he wanted to start doing the interview with me. But it was for me it was easier than I thought, because it was German. That's nice.
Okay, yeah. Bernd Kills has one of the biggest German guitar teaching channels, and he does also some gear reviews. I have been on his channel like with a couple of videos, and demonstrating the AMP1 and the Mercury and the Iridium edition. And we had this fantastic video about latency, because when I came to Bernd in the studio, I noticed, this feels like very latency. And then he is also an expert on that. And while doing the setup, we created new idea of making a video about the latency before we even shot the videos that we blend. So Bernd is a really pro guy. I'm impressed about his work.
Nice guy. It was really nice to do. My first interview with him.
Was this like your first real interview ever? Like, okay, see?
Yeah.
Julian is getting there, which is cool. About other things that happened, what other memories do you have with highlights from your side?
Mostly I just remember running from left to right,
from A to B.
At the same time, people asking me very different questions, like many topics. And of course, when will the AmpX be released? Released.
Yeah. When it's finished. That's my phrase.
And then at the same time, we had this nice stage on our booth.
The first time ever we had a stage where we invited a lot of friends and users of our products. The stage was a mutual stage between BluGuitar and Kloppmann Electric's pickups, as we are very close friends for decades. And we had the same booth at Guitar Summit. Did we have it from the first Guitar Summit ever? I think, yeah. So this was the 6th time we both kind of were neighbors, and then we decided, you know what, Andreas Kloppmann is the owner of this company. Andreas, hey, let's simply have a stage like we used to have back in the Musikmesse days with headphones. And it is and it was great. This guy is, who is it? Let me see, on the stage. Hey, this is Kafio or Hayon. Yeah. I wasn't there when he was there, but I played with him a couple of years ago. So about all the artists, I talk about these details later, because I have tons of video clips and I have tons of stories to tell. But from your side, I mean, you have also done video filming on that stage from stuff that we will see right now or in a couple of minutes. So this was one of your jobs?
Yeah.
And then the other job was trying to get a live stream done, which was kind of impossible because we had very high-speed internet booked, which we couldn't access because the login data were and whatnot. So there's always something not working.
Yeah, but it also didn't work because I'm not the one who usually does the live stream, because that's Lucas, who is just doing a great job.
Yeah.
And me, I couldn't replace this.
Lucas was busy and he was kind of sitting at home trying to work a little.
Support us from the background.
Yeah. So we hope next year he is joining us to be at the show, and then we get it really in the usual quality, or at least closer to that, because changing the video studio is another thing. And by the way, we are sitting in the studio. This wasn't there this afternoon. We had most of the camera. Hello this guy and hello this guy. See? And hello this guy. No, this guy was staying here, but all the other cameras we had there, the lights here and there were at the Guitar Summit, the clip-on mics, all the cables. I was cleaning the studio before we set up with the cables again, so it should be a little bit cleaner for the next time. But it is it is kind of work to tear down a studio, set up a studio, tear it down from and set it up again. So this is all what happens between last week, Wednesday, and today. Today we have Tuesday, and this is because tomorrow I have a gig. I play a concert in Neunkirchen Reithalle for the locals, and of course I'm using my AmpX prototype, as I always play my gigs with AmpX these days since the 1st of January 2024, and so on. Talking back about some more memories on the Guitar Summit. I thought the concerts and all that stuff was great. The amount of people we had at our booth.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. They were lining up for the test stations that we have, which were kind of on the back of the booth or on the front. Let's call it front because they're both fronts, depending on from where you're coming. On the front we had the display and the stage, and this was the back with Mario. Can you show it again? Because so there we have M1 Mercury and Iridium edition, several guitars. And Mario did a fantastic job. Yeah, he knows the M1. He is also M1 user, heavy M1 user since years. Mario was
this year the first time official part of our team. Before he was like always there, always helping. But this time we just said, hey, you are here anyway. Yeah, just be part of our team. Yeah, and so we it was great.
Yeah, we shared the same hotel. And talking about the hotel, what was the hotel? It was the 1901. Was it?
Park Hotel.
Park Hotel.
1901.
Which is it's a good recommendation in case you want to book a hotel close by, because it's on the upper side
of the Wasserturm.
Of the Wasserturm, of that round place. And there's a parking garage underneath for the hotel and the exhibition hall, so you can actually walk through the parking under the whole thing,
which you won't do
usually. But if it would have been raining, which it wasn't, you could do it that way. And and the rates we have got were incredibly low, under 100 euros for good rooms. Yeah, and so we will book our rooms pretty soon. Don't let us book our rooms first, and then you can come. And at that hotel, we also met a lot of other, Danish Pete from Andertons. There's, of course, all the hotels nearby. There are the people from the show, and so you have an extra chance to meet them in the lobby or at breakfast and have a chat. And
which actually happened for me in the morning. For me, I was really shocked because I was. It was like we arrived at the hotel 4 in the morning after tirelessly or tired working on AmpX, and then I got up in the morning. I think we met like 9:15 or so.
Yeah, already.
And there was already. I didn't even have my breakfast. There was already a guy recognizing me from the live stream.
Yeah, you're getting famous, which is cool. So I'm not famous alone, which is very good, because sometimes it's cool, and sometimes it's also cool to have other people that are famous too. Can you always say, "Hey, Julian, you can do the interview. Bye bye." Anyway, so nice place, and the amount of people and the quality of people from all sides, from customer sides, from company sides, and musician side, was very high. I have been to many shows in my life, as you know, and I've done this for many decades, and I've been to the NAMM shows and to all the Frankfurt music messes and to Italian music shows, to French and Scandinavian ones, and this was probably the best show I have attended so far. Then talking about the booth, our team, we had Valeska, we had Julian, we had Mario, and we had Manuel Bastian. So in this picture you can see Mario Stracuzzi on the left, Manuel Bastian number 2, Julian unfortunately hidden under my thumb, myself, and Valeska hidden under her hair. She got a lot of compliments for her hair, which is also okay. This was the team for a small booth, but you need that. Even that team was totally busy the whole day. Yeah. So next time we will improve a couple of things, because every time you do that, maybe you have seen that we have had a little messy corner here and there. This was due to the fact that we had so much stuff that we actually needed for the video, for the performances. And talking about the performance, my fat cap is still on stage. I forgot it. I got an email. It's like, hey, what is this? There's BluGuitar on it. Well, I was simply leaving it, and I have a gig tomorrow. Oh, by the way, how do I get my? The warehouse is full of fat caps, so somehow. But if not, my drummer Tommy can maybe have a quick stop in Mannheim and pick it up. I have to organize this tomorrow morning. Good point. Manuel Bastian is also a very nice guy and super good guitar player. He has been here on the show. And
he has like super tasteful videos, like really.
Yeah.
For me, as a part-time video guy, it's really nice.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen his videos or his video channel, check out Manuel Bastian. Super. Okay. I have a few notes in my mobile phone that brings memories back. Lee from Andertons in the UK. I want to do art, and there's local people that I met, like venues where I can play. And then there was a guy that had our Ukraine edition, amp shown to people. We had a special ones made. I got tons of things from other people, including some very good red wine. The first bottle is gone between my girlfriend already, so there's 5 bottles left. We had a lot of amps that we gave to other companies, including Siggy Braun guitars, Shabbat guitars, Perfecto de Castro used one, and wait a minute, Ainsley Lister used one on the jam before the show, and then when we're here was, so you know, there were some BluGuitar amps out there for, you know, other booths where people could check out guitars and stuff.
In general, from my side, I just want to say thank you to all of you out there who just came to visit us and ask us questions. It's like, for me, it's a little bit crazy because we are such a small team, such a small company, just owned by one guy, yeah, and it's crazy that we get that much attention and positive feedback. Really, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And we had a big crowd. I have heard from many people that the BluGuitar booth was probably one of the better or maybe most attended booth in the exhibition. I'm not, you know, I'm happy for every booth that is vibrant, and I'm happy for the whole show to be vibrant because the industry needs that. And we are all sitting in the same boat, and no matter, we had even people like Viktor Smolsky, who is Mr. Engel Amps in Germany to me. He has his signature model, and I done a little interview with him, also talking about the latest Engel products. And did we show that? I think we showed it already, yeah. Because, hey, we are all buddies in a way. So, something is cooking in Italy. Ah, okay. Mario is already working, because that's the other thing. While being at the show, we have the chance to talk, you know, to our friends, and we find out about things that we can do and what we should do in the future, and new connections, and, you know, new strategies. So Mario is cooking something in Italy. I see pasta. Yes. Juris priest. Somebody says it was also my first summit, and I will also stay for 2 days next year. You were only there for 1 year. It was the hall and 11 a.m. and didn't get to play guitar until, I mean, it's simply too much for one day. If you want to get the vibe, you can make one day a very good day for you, but the show is big enough to stay there for 3 days. I mean, for 2 days. For 3 days, depends on what you want. But with all the clinics, with all the concerts and people you can talk to, it's so much input you can get, and so much exchange you can get, and the people are all there. I'm so happy meeting all the people. You have seen the walkthrough probably. In the walkthrough, if you haven't seen it, watch it. You can see how big this whole thing is, and how many different companies and people coming to this show.
Yeah, many different people, and still you seem to know half of them, at least.
Well, after how many years am I doing it? I don't know. I'm so long in this industry, and I know a lot of people. Maybe there are people that know more than me, but maybe I'm at least at the I think I belong to the people that know most of them for some reason. Yeah, then back to the booth. I will talk on detail about all the artists and my concerts and stuff like that. On the booth, Julian did a fantastic job explaining what was going on AmpX. I did the official clinics or the official appearances on stages, including our own stage. Let me see, where is it? So every day at 2 I was at our own stage, talking a little bit where we are and what we are doing currently on the AmpX. And then I also had a what's it called, like a 10 years of BluGuitar workshop at Electric Stage 2, and that goes along with this thing here. This is a nice magazine. Well, this is a double page of the Gitarre und Bass Summit special, which is out now. Oh, wait a minute. So how to make it best looking? Wait a minute. It's always the other way around. And this is our story from the beginning up until today, from AMP1 and what happened and the vision of AmpX, and it's nice. And the full magazine is. The magazine is full of stories like that, very nicely made, very nice print, and yeah, I can recommend it if you want to have something to read. It's a special print, high quality, so I thought we are getting 10 this year, so we should do something nice.
Is it still available, and
Yeah.
where?
Well, you get it from Gitarre und Bass, and yeah, and I hope it's still available. It's a limited edition, but Gitarre and Bass is the place where you should be able to get it. Or Guitar Summit. Well, the team of Gitarre and Bass magazine was putting the whole thing together, and I think it is Gitarre and Bass or Guitar Summit. Anyway, if you ask for this special edition magazine, they both should know because they are the same people. So we have a little bit of AmpX talk. Diarrhea, splatter. Oh, diarrhea. That sounds like shit. Holy crap! Holy shit. So what is the AmpX talk? We can make it short because Julian is actually leaving after this or during this, because he goes back to the R&D, as we are working on the AmpX every day in, day out.
And the R&D is not in this house. So
yeah.
yeah.
So where are we?
Yeah, it's poo.
Yeah. Okay, you have a great nickname.
Good that we are not monetarized.
Yeah.
If we were, it would be gone now.
Yeah. So where are we? We have the revision number 6. So we already have 5 versions of AMP1, and now we have the 6th version. And the reason for that is I'm a perfectionist. Yes. And the next thing is I want to have an amp. I had this huge vision that all of that stuff that is here, that I'm surrounded with, can be in one device. And of course, it's a very naive and simple vision to have. And then when you grew up with all these great amps and the big tone, me as a musician, I don't want to make a compromise. So the level is that high. I don't go there and make something that wouldn't make me happy as a professional guitarist. So it needs to be at least in the same ballpark, and I don't want to suffer, especially not on tone. The company is called Tone Innovation. So first comes tone, and then comes innovation. And what BluGuitar is doing is bringing the great tone from amps that you can see in the background and more to new formats like AMP1, Mercury, Iridium, Blue Box and all that, or like our cabinets, like the Fat Cab, like the Nano Cab, like the Twin Cab, which is innovative stuff in the way that the gear is making sense for today's musician, for today's stage, for today's situation. So we are not in the 60s anymore, where we crank a 100-watt amp and enjoy live. Because if we would do this with the 4x12, which is our table here these days, and this is filled with this is a 1969 4x12 Marshall cabinet, killer cabinet, but it has not been out for ages. And trust me, it sounds killer. But I'm so lucky to have my company BluGuitar, because you don't want to carry this thing to the booth and back. You know, if you have a Nano Cab, life is good. And if you have a Fat Cab, life is still good. If you have a Twin Cab, life is not so good, but still good. But if you have that Marshall cabinet, life is shit. I'm going back to this poo. Because I've been there. And the same actually with a lot of these tube amps here. And so one part of the journey was my Triamp, which you can see here. This fellow, 13 tubes. I can do all the stuff that I was doing on this amp with just a Mercury this day. So having this 1.2 kilograms versus, I don't know, 29 or whatever, at least is so heavy, your fingers need a massage before you play. And then it's even worse because such a tube amp should belong into a flight case, and that makes it even heavier, and then this is not today. And on the other side, there are beautiful devices like a modeling device that can do anything of what we see here, but for me, not fulfilling. It sounds great, but it feels shit. Sorry for the hard words. I'm used to have something to work on the tone, and that's dynamic, and this is where we are at. And this is, in the end, AmpX is bringing all of that together, and this is kind of exponential. And this is why we have done version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, and now version 6.
Yeah, and somewhere between version 3 and 4, we had like the sound, and with version 5, we had the feel, or part of the feel. And
now we have everything. That's the good thing, because honestly, we had nailed the vintage quality side by, let's say, the beginning of this year. And when we started, I thought, we have those two amps and we make a few tweaks and we are there. As I showed this already in all my Academy of Tone videos, how close these amps can get. But when you want to go next level, there is even more. And this is what AmpX is about. And I would not feel good to make a compromise now that I would regret in a couple of years. And therefore, I have to sign it off with all my knowledge and having this peace of mind that I can tell you, this is all my knowledge and I did my very best. Now, because AmpX is a hardware platform that we will live on for the next 10 years. I mean, having 10 years of AMP1 already, and the world even doesn't know that all over the place. I mean, you guys tuning in here, you know it. But I met PhilX, and I know PhilX for years. And at this show, he finally understood that an AMP1 is a full amp. He thought it is
that
just
it's a
pedal.
preamp.
Yeah, it's a pedal. It's a preamp pedal. And this show, he understood. Oh man, yeah, that's all. Not so interesting. And guess what? Then, in backstage, once he understood AMP1, I gave him the full AmpX story, including the X T-shirt for PhilX. So we might see him wearing an X soon. And then he was completely knocked over. It's like, man, you are crazy. You finished that shit. That's fucking shit. This is the shit. So anyway, but yeah. And talking about the music side, we talk later, but this was the technological side that I tried to explain. And this is not even easy because, you know, people have a short attention span, and you have to have some time to explain to people what an AmpX is. And to get the full thing, maybe I have to revisit that again, but it was so scary to him and so fucked up, man. This is the shit, man. This is yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's great. Anyway, I see David Mattei, PhilX tone with his 4x12 cabinet and Friedman amp is great and pure rock and roll. I totally agree for two reasons. First, I had his own Friedman amp here in the studio. No, did I have it in the studio? But I had it here because a friend of mine bought it like 3 years after Guitar Summit, when Phil was playing his signature amp at Guitar Summit, Björn. And Björn had bought that amp of Phil, and of course I was playing it, and actually I told Phil also that I played his amp. And on stage, the first night, on the Friday night, I played my Fat Cap, and Saturday night, when I did the concert, I thought there were all the cabinets, places were already taken, so I decided, you know what, I just simply plug into PhilX's 4x12 cabinet. Yes, and it sounds good. Why? Same taste. He uses 2 greenbacks and 2 V30s in a 4x12. Good combination.
And you always say you are Fat Cap speakers in between.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, and I didn't talk to him.
So it's mixed by air.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, what I do is just a shrunken PhilX cabinet. That's the Fat cabinet. Fat Cap. You know. And then I see Matteo Mancuso is not human. Yeah, I talk about all the artists in a minute, but you did a lot of explaining where we are on the AmpX at the booth. I did it my way, you did it your way. I don't know where the differences are.
I don't know also. Is there a reason you don't use infinite rotaries for the 4X controls?
Yes, I can.
On the AmpX.
Yeah, because I'm the analog feel guy.
And yeah, but I feel it too.
For me, I mean, when a company like BluGuitar, coming from the analog feel thing on the guitar and the knobs, I believe it's good to have a feel for this is off or minimum and this is maximum. And the AmpX has a section called the X controls that is kind linked of what you actually have highlighted.
What's in your focus, yeah.
Well, and this could be your delay, your reverb, whatever your amp. So this is the additional controls, the X controls. And I want that analog feel wherever I go.
Yeah.
We still have the Inkrementalgeber,
Incremental encoder.
yeah, which is also an option to dial in things. I'm not using that.
Actually, you can select every X control using the incremental encoder and turn it that way, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good if you have more than 4 parameters, then you need the encoder. Or if you need to set something up at very precise steps.
But I think to have a good workflow, to have an intuitive a relationship with your product.
Yeah, you can just turn and then it's like a pedal.
Yeah. And this is the feel in the operation that I want. And this is what we are doing first. Other things later. Just to finish a little bit where we are is like we have been working on this revision 6 PCB literally for the last months. And we have 1 week before the show we received that, and you have to understand when we get a new PCB version, the analog hardware has changed, because this is what we make in the revision in a new version. And when the analog hardware has changed, everything is obsolete. What when it comes to sounds, it's like you have a full new basket of components and start to build your amps or your sounds from scratch.
Yeah.
And so what we are doing right now is testing this platform with some of our already known sounds that I use in the version 5.
Yeah.
And of course we checked that. I can sign this off. Brilliant. We have not lost nothing. We just gained things, and one of the important things that excites me so much is the power amp saturation thing, that I can get the power amp cranked at any volume, and for me with no compromise. It's a dream. It is what I always have been dreaming of with all these beautiful amps, and why I have built my silence box to be able to crank the amps, to have them breathe and move electrons like crazy, dynamic. And this was one of the biggest steps for me.
Yeah, and it works really much better than I expected. You can like really turn the amp down from 7 to 1.
And it's all usable. Yeah. And it's magic. For me, that's one major thing. The next thing is when we did our Fender Tweed Deluxe from 1957, we did a model, and this is on the vintage side, and it sounded like a reissue. It sounded correct, but it sounded modern in a way. It was a vintage amp, and that vintage feel was not there. And also that was a thing that we have found a solution to. Yeah,
and that the result of that solution was revision 5 modification that you are playing.
Yes. So, and this is now part of the new revision 6. And also another part is that we achieved our high gain. I mean, I'm talking real metal sounds, real noise, and all not vintage inspired stuff, which is kind of the other side of the spectrum, which was not in focus at the very beginning. I mean, we had an idea, it could work, blah blah blah, but as we
and we had also our modern sounds here.
But getting into details, we find stuff, and we came up with the idea we have to revisit.
And we found out that there's like 2 very different recipes to get a tight sound that have not so much in common with each other.
And therefore we had to do a huge revision of the high gain options in our circuitry. And as we had found a solution for that, we both agreed, and it would be a waste if we wouldn't use that kind of extra secret circuitry in our pedal stage as well, because in the pedal stage we have a boost stage for light gain, compression, boosters, and then there is a pedal, a drive stage, and with that experience that we made from the amp section, we used some of that circuitry also on the drive, which is a pedal, to make these pedals even more flexible towards the high gain thing. And what not. I mean, we can do things I'm very, very happy about. Then there is the wah-wah, and the wah-wah was also revisited because I came in with my good old vintage Vox wahs, and guess what? The more vintage, the more crazy, the more complex.
And then we start to solder and put wires here and there, yeah.
Yeah, and started again, because we had wah-wahs before. They were okay, but I wanted to get my Vox wah-wahs, and also the difference between two vintage Vox wah-wahs. I'm not talking about one and that's good. No, I wanted to have this one and this one, and the difference is they are using different coils. There's a Fasel coil, and the other one, I don't know what's the name in German, Kanisterspule, is a different coil, and they have a specific sound.
I guess there's more differences, and I guess that actually probably none of those wahs actually sound the same as the other. Like exactly.
This is the magic and disaster on the vintage gear. There is not two alike. I mean, you have this one and you have another one, and it's like, oh, this is great, and this is maybe also great, or this is shit, and this is also shit. But in the vintage world, the tolerances are all over the place.
Yeah, and one advantage that we have here is that you started very early to collect
anything that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was lucky because in my early 20s, when I started doing the clinics in the music stores for use in QnA mainly, I came to the music stores and I knew vintage gear. I was addicted to that, and I could make a lot of things cheap. If I had more money, I would have more gear. But I'm pretty happy with what I could capture back then. And then talking about vintage, analog and modern analog, what we are doing, the main thing on our amps here is the tonal consistency and reliability, which is due to the fact that we are using components with a smaller tolerance. So resistors, capacitors, and things on the PCB are surface mount, very small components with very small tolerances. Tubes have tolerances of whatever 30%, and sometimes even within one glass bottle there's two systems, and I used to hand select my tubes. Do I like that tube better or that tube better?
In the AMP1, the tube is also the part with the most tolerance, together with the potentiometers.
Yeah. And but we have an auto bias circuitry for the nanotube, and to make this better.
Yeah, it makes the auto bias makes all amps sound the same, and the only thing left is a tiny bit of power amp gain difference. Yeah.
You don't hear that. Not really.
Yeah, who plays the power amp on 10?
Yeah.
The only difference that you can reach is settings on power amp 10.
Okay. And talking about amp 1s, when you get one out of the box and the next one is, I can sign for it. I can make it sound the same. If there's a difference, it might be the setting of the tone, like from 5 to 5.5 or something like that. But that's about it. I know that the amps have a very narrow spec quality test, and we don't sell anything that is not within our specification. And that brings us back to the AmpX, because the calibration you did. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how to make the AmpX able to replicate all these little nuances of these amps, so that they are sounding the same on every AmpX that will be shipped.
Yeah, so there is calibration both for EQ bands and EQ frequencies. Or actually, the terminology is wrong. Calibration, it's not a calibration, it's an adjustment. So the amp measures itself and then moves certain EQ bands up and down, and then it builds a table from potentiometer value to dB.
Yeah.
dB or from potentiometer value to frequency.
Yeah, so, and this is measuring the output or what's actually happening, and this is what we are working with later on. Like the dBs, so to speak, to keep it simple, is the sound. And if there is a precision on that side, we can make sure if it's like a self-correcting process, that we have a blank foundation that is the same on every AmpX.
And version 5 that you are now playing doesn't have that yet, and that was part of why the new revision 6 was so terribly much work.
Yeah, and this is something nobody of you gets, and you think it's not a benefit for you guys, but it is the benefit for you guys, because now we can tell you that if we do a sound, we know that it sounds right. And maybe there's a side effect one day that if we make this kind of self-test, maybe the amp can tell if something is wrong or not, if it needs service. So who else can tell that? If the amp can tell you this already, cool. Yeah, and this on an analog amp, that's beyond what other guys are doing. The Chaos Sound amp,
the beginning of our development was definitely that.
Yeah, sure.
We have heard enough Chaos sounds already. Because in the beginning, when I developed the drivers, there was like how is it called again? There was a race condition which produced random crashes and also random wrong sounds, which is great for sound design.
No, it's horrible. But this is why I'm happy that we achieved that level now, because now the first time ever we can create sounds that will last. Because I don't want to change the hardware anymore. It's that good.
Now
took a while.
We committed that we will only do fixes and no more features.
Because we worked a lot on features, and also internal features that you don't see, but I consider to be very important, and would regret if it's not there. So, last question for Julian, because he has to continue. And by the way, we have was ist das? Ein Bundeswehr-Übernachtungsfeldbett. We have a little bed at the company. When he's getting tired, he takes a nap, and then he goes out. We are machines. These days we are machines. If you have been to the Guitar Summit, you have seen we are on fire.
The only machine harder than us is Mario.
Mario is great, yeah. And but this is the good thing. Mario is chilled, and Mario can talk to people, and the next guy is coming. He can manage 2 people. Super. So Mario, already know next year you are part of the team again, and we will book your hotel room and everything. Is that a whiskey? No. If I would drink this amount of whiskey, I wouldn't be sitting on this chair anymore. This is my standard summer drink, which is Chinar. Is a artichoke bitter lemon, freshly squeezed lemon and soda water. Tastes a little bit different, and I enjoy that after my orange juice and mineral water and mixture of both in different styles. Yeah. Mario is happy. See, cool. Yeah, have a good one. No, it's pretty soon gone. But anyway, so.
Yeah, let me say bye-bye.
Yeah, Julian is going back to the R&D because tomorrow morning when I wake up, and then it would be great that I can check the next round.
I wake up in the morning and I step outside.
and I say, hey, hey. I say, hey.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Bye-bye, so that Thomas can say hey tomorrow and not shit. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, Julian. For a little input from his side, which is totally cool. I wanted to talk about the musician side. By the way, this is Greg Koch's notes that he took when I've done a little interview asking him what are your favorite telly players, and Greg actually came to our booth and in the morning right after coffee and was so kind, telling a lot, I think over an hour, about all his influences, his killer telly players, what they have done, how they play, and things like that. That will be coming in a future Academy of Tone, where I talk about, well, the 10 best telly tones, of course. So half of that episode is already done, which is great. And this is from the hotel where he was before in Wanderup. That is definitely North Germany. Of course, Greg was like the main guy on the Saturday night. I mean, Greg Koch and band was leading the jam, which was so cool. On Saturday, I don't know what did we play? Hendrix. We played do da da 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 be do dong down Spanish Castle Magic. And talking about Spanish Castle Magic, memory. If some of you guys have recorded that, which I hope somebody did, because we didn't, and it was so funny. I now remember there was no rehearsal. You know, you simply go there, and it's all live. It's like in the morning I was there and did a little line check if the sound is there, and there's no rehearsal. It's simply like go there and play and have fun. And so I didn't know at the second verse, wait a minute, I need a guitar, so maybe I can make a little noise and share my memory with you in the correct way. If you know Spanish Castle Magic, like this. Okay, make it a little less. singing the chorus, Spanish Castle Magic, and yeah, they had a different version which was shorter, so I was all along singing, and my voice is not so good. Anyway, I want to hear that. If somebody has a recording of that, send it to me, because I want to laugh about myself. Yeah, but you know, that jam was killer. And of course we had PhilX on stage, and who was joining that session? I can't even remember now. Andy Woods, but he was also there. I think Ainsley Lister was there. La 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 on the big stage. At the moment I'm on the big stage in the concert hall. Yeah, this was the night before. This was Friday night with Jared James Nichols. In the middle, the tall guy. The leaders were always tall. Me to the left, and then Matteo Mancuso. If you don't know who Matteo Mancuso is, he's that Italian guy that plays with the finger, kind of a flamenco style, and he's unbelievable. Young, nice, shredding, and see, he wears a BluGuitar strap on his guitar, because the first thing what happened is he came to stage and I need a strap, and then the next thing is do you have like one of those adapters for my MacBook? And sure, no problem. So I was sorting him out in a nice way, and yeah, nice guy, killer playing. Yeah. So who else was there? PhilX, long hair. What can I say about PhilX? I know Phil for many years now, and we already jammed at other occasions. Unbelievable player, killer singer. He's like the guitar player in Bon Jovi now. Great humor. What a guy. Yeah. And then first time ever I met Andy Wood, and he is again killer. I mean, speechless. He's got the chops, the hybrid picking things, but also rock, anything. Yeah, super guitar player. I'm deeply impressed. And of course, Matteo is another level, because what he's doing is so different. So he can shred. He also, I can feel that he's doing his thing and playing the right notes as well. Let's see where he's getting in the next 10 years. For now, he's the Wunderkind, okay? Killer. Yeah, talking about the big stage, I was using the AmpX, and as I told you guys, on the Friday with Jared Nichols, I played my nano cap, but you don't hear a difference because it's coming from the direct out anyway, so the PA guy is mixing the sound. Some people didn't like it that much. I was on stage, so the stage crew was fantastic. The sound of the room seems to be difficult. That's all I can tell you. But still, I really enjoyed both jam nights, and it was so much fun playing with the guys. It was so great interaction, and everything was so spontaneous. There was no rehearsal, there was no plan. It was just, hey, you know, join in, and then a few things have been cued, you know, like Greg gave signs, okay, there's a different part, don't play anything here because I make the transition, and you join in once we are in the next section. And I don't even know what happened. This is all spontaneous. This was great. And also how I could lock in with the other band members. I could feel that the drummer was listening to what I was playing, picking up little bits and pieces, and the organ player, yeah, just nice. Jürgen Dillinger says PhilX was not so good at Friday night. Yeah, but PhilX is always good. Maybe on Saturday he was killer. The other thing you have to understand is also when you do such a thing, there are so many factors that affect you when you are going on stage. If something is wrong, you know how, imagine yourself going there having no sound check, no rehearsal, you just go there and jump in and do your thing. It's something, yeah. On the other side, we also had our stage, which was great. Wait a minute, I see something profile productions. I'm glad you are taking your time with AmpX. I'm sure it will be awesome. Yeah. Again, guys, this is for me. It's so important. We are not releasing a new product every year for many reasons. Why not? Because my company is small, and we have to make products that have a long lifespan. Because the costs for a development and the custom parts that need to be done, they are all so special. We don't have standard components like on this. This is a standard housing, and you have a PCB. We still have custom-made knobs for that. But like on an AMP1, everything is special. There's a window for this, there's a panel for that, there's a knob for this. This is all custom-made for us. And when you do something like that, the investment is very high. And the same thing goes into also the circuitry design, which takes so much effort and so much time that we can't bring out a new device every 2 years. It's simply not possible. We bring out big things every 10 years. AMP1, AmpX, that's the big things. In between, we can have small things like cabinets, like Blue Box and stuff like that. That's easy peasy. And by the way, when you would have such a tube amp, if I would do a tube amp, that would be an easy thing, because this is known technology, known components, and it's still a challenge. I'm not saying this is bad, this is killer. By the way, this will be next episode of Academy of Tone, the Plex by Friedman, and the other Plexis in the room. But the thing I'm saying is the innovation, tone innovation, means we have to innovate, which means we have to do new stuff. We have to break new grounds. And it's not done in a couple of hours. The fine-tuning of a good old tube circuits is way less work. It's just like I already have a recipe that I change a few things, and that's all that there is. From the technological side, sorry guys. And therefore, to go halfway and stop or make a compromise is no solution for my approach. Okay, back to the musician side. Besides having these jams, I also was happy that we had our little stage there. And on the stage, there was a lot of nice things happening. I mean, we have a short video of the artists on stage, and this includes them all. Manuel Kettenring, Ainsley Lister, I don't know. Watch it, enjoy our little stage at the BluGuitar booth. Yeah, the quite unbelievable Greg Koch. Yeah, this will all be part of the 10 best Teletubby tones. We hear that, I don't know, in a couple of weeks. Besides what we have just seen, there are other people like Gregor Hilden. He came Sunday. We played together. He played alone. I was still in my master class, and he started already. And when I came back in, we had time for one song or two. I don't even remember. And there was Perfecto de Castro, who was there also with a very good performance. I was only watching because I was busy doing something else. And I can tell that he really got people's attention, nice performance. He was here at the Academy of Tone last year, before the Guitar Summit 2023. Then there were also Andreas Kloppmann's artists like Frank Pané, which I also know that he was killer playing his set. Yeah, I watched that. Then I had Viktor Smolsky there for a short interview. Yeah, so nice. And then my personal highlight was Andreas Kloppmann and myself playing the songs that are the forbidden songs. All Right Now and Smoke on the Water. But do we have the clip where Andreas is? Yes. I can watch this hundreds of millions of times.
Putting things on the ground when it all was over. Smoke on the water.
Yeah, this was just shortly before the lottery on Saturday. Andreas is a killer guitar player, and he's, first he said, should we do that? And then he took the challenge, and really, his team, it's like all the employees of Kloppmann Electrics were there, and they have never seen Andreas letting loose that way. So it was simply great. There's another thing. Wait a minute, maybe I can find. No. For some reason, I'm searching. Anyway, I have to stop this zapping myself for videos that I want to show you. Anyway, then I met Joe Berger. This is the guy that is at every show, no matter where you go on this planet. There is nobody that is everywhere, and Joe is there. Yeah, and I think we have that little clip where he got X'd.
All right, I'm gonna flash you guys some X. It's X-rated, baby. X.
X-rated.
X-rated. It's not Twitter.
Yeah, Joe Berger. If you don't know him, he is the guy that has a super nice fluent legato technique. Besides other things he's doing, quite unique player in a way. I think he's New York based and all over the planet based. Yeah, unbelievable. And talking about the artists being at our booth, Ali Neander, he released his new album, The Boomer Bands, at the Guitar Summit. You see, für Thomas, this is for Thomas. Für Thomas. 1000 Dank, nehme ich mal an, Ali. And on this record, I play a pretty impressive fast solo. But the list of people on this album is unbelievable. Annika Nilles, the female drummer that was playing with Jeff Beck before he passed away. Kai Eckert, bass player, that was playing with Inner Mounting Flame, the fast guitar. Philip Brehm, bass player. Raoul Walton, my good friend that I played with for so many years in the Thomas Blug band. Moritz Müller, killer drummer. So anyway, there's like the best of the bests in Germany and worldwide on the CD, which is one record that came out, recommendable. Then I got a CD from Sam, who is the guy that works for Trevor Wilkinson. Oops. Can you see? Yeah. I haven't heard it yet, so it's all AMP1, by the way. And Ali's is also a lot of AMP1. Myself definitely, and Ali used some other things. And actually he called me this morning because he's preparing for the Moses Perlham tour, and then he got fooled himself with the AMP1 and a cable for the HX effects, a MIDI adapter, which wasn't the BluGuitar MIDI adapter, and it doesn't work. And that's because our MIDI 1 adapter is that kind of thing, and the MIDI 1 adapter actually has a PCB inside this metal 5-pole pin pole connector, and if it's not our thing, it just doesn't work. We don't do this because of the money. No, we do it because our socket on the AMP1 is multi-purpose. It is dump standard foot switches. It is our remote one or remote one control interface, or it's the MIDI input, and therefore you need to have that special thing. So this was Ali Neander. There's more things. Oh man, I don't know. I think from the amount of great people that I met, other people, Andreas Schmidt-Martel, he was working for German guitar brand Maybach Guitars. Then Gundi Keller, Delagro Guitars from Wuppertal. What's Joe Berger? No, Berger. Tom Berger is the name of the owner of the shop. What's the name of the shop? Wuppertal. So many people. Maybe you can watch the walkthrough and see that. The funny thing is, when you go through the aisles, you see all the people, you see how they feel, but you can't hear the sound because it's headphone demos. And for me, it was great to have headphones at the booth. And we will do exactly the same again next year. That was also the words of Andreas Kloppmann, who was so happy about this year's Guitar Summit. So what we will do is we'll do exactly the same procedure next year. And I'm also looking forward for the next show with Andreas. We will have separate booths, but we will share the same house. I rented something in Los Angeles for the NAMM show, and we will share like 2 houses with separate rooms and separate bathrooms for the BluGuitar guys, and Kloppmann for the Kloppmann guys, and Nick Huber for the Nick Huber guys. So like 3 German companies in one place, cool to hang, and way cheaper than separate hotel rooms, and way cooler because we have a garden and the whole 9 yards. So for me, it's such a cool industry, and it's always great to meet my friends and people on any level, on the industry level, on the musicians level, and also on, you know, the fan level. People come and tell you, I have seen this concert of you, blah, 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 here and there. And yeah, I would love that you come to the gigs if you're living in Germany. Go on my website, because tomorrow I'm gigging. This is like the first day on my postcard that I had. I don't have it here, unfortunately. Do I? No, I don't have it here. And then there is the next gig is in Waldbronn. Waldbronn Soundcheck 1. This is all rock anarchy. And I think then it's a huge tour with Blue Grenfell Engelin, which is due to our release, CD release. I will do some extra episodes on that one, because I recorded new original material for myself and together with Ben Grenfell. By the way, Ben Grenfell was also at the show briefly. Do we have a picture? No. Okay, I have it on the phone. Ben Granfeld. Yeah, here we go. Lucas, I have an idea. What other pictures are left? And I explain, because we have so many. Ronnie Romero comes up. Here is Ronnie Romero. If you don't know who Ronnie Romero is, well, he is like one of the best rock singers on this planet. If you have heard Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow lately, or the last, whatever, almost 10 years, that's the voice. He sings with Michael Schenker. We had some gigs together, and that's the only thing that didn't work out. He actually came to our booth to see me, and I couldn't make any spare time on Sunday to jam with him on our booth. He was ready. You know, he was there with his acoustic guitar and his voice, obviously. And this would have been the killer thing, but there was no fucking time, because I did my masterclass, I did tons of things, and yeah, then the show was already over. Ronnie Romero, who else? These people, John Simons on the left of the Sonic Drive Studios. I think he's from Belgium. And then there's Paul from the Studio Rats from the UK. And the funny thing is, they came together. I thought, have they created their own new YouTube channel together now? No, they just became friends, and one guy is helping the other guy, which is so cool. This is how it should be in this industry. Yeah, again, I've done a little interview with both of them. Check out their channel. Sonic Drive Studios is this guy. What else do we have? This is somebody who's usually always in the chat. Jürgen Dillinger aus Wallerfang. Okay. Then finally I have a face. So guys, if you look in the chat, there's a guy called Jürgen Dillinger. That's this guy with the one and the red, black shirt. And the funny thing is, this is a local, and Dillingen and Wallerfangen is kind of, there's like two little villages, sort of, or towns. Dillingen is bigger than Wallerfang. So his last name is Dillinger. I am a Dillinger. Well, tomorrow I'm a Neunkircher. Because I play the Reithalle. Yeah, finally I have a face for this guy. So, yeah, hello. This was me and Ali being on stage. From our perspective, this is how it looks from our side. Yeah, that's from the other side. Yeah, you can see with all the headphones. And this is Julian explaining the AmpX. Yeah, and by the way, we have the prototype of our own expression pedal that is using magnetics instead of a standard potentiometer. But we will do all this stuff later. Yeah, this is me explaining the AmpX. And doing this is Olli from Session. This is a video shoot for a German channel of Session Music Frankfurt, or well, they have two shops in Walldorf near Heidelberg and Session Music Frankfurt. And Olli is one of the coolest dudes in the German scene. Killer guitar player, great taste, and even better humor. We both agreed on doing some episodes which are probably not gear related. We are just talking shit because we can. There's a chemistry that we have. We both found out. So he actually came to me, asked me for that. Yeah. This is Martin Engelin in the middle, part of Blue Granford Engelin, and then there's Olli, Oliver Hartmann, yeah, killer guitar player, also amp1 user, of course, and he is also a killer singer. I mean, he's one of those complete packages. He was also part of AcademyOfTone a couple of times with his 800 Marshall that sounds exactly like the vintage channel. Anyway, so Hovi is the guy that is famous for his Deeflexx. And while we are talking about Hovi, there is a Deeflexx that nobody can see. Look at this. When I take the guitar away, then you might see this thing. And then it's here. The Deeflexx is a special tool that you can put in front of your cabinet. Like here would sit my, let's say, fat cap or nano cap. And the speaker faces towards the Deeflexx. And the Deeflexx makes the sound spread around. And so there is no beam. That's kind of one function. It's a beam blocker. But what's even better, it kind of deviates the sound to your ears. The reason for that is that Hovi is one of the tallest guys that I know. When we do the photos, I always have to get on my toes, and he has to be going down. You don't see it in the photo, but if I wouldn't do it and he wouldn't do it, it's like his head is out of the picture. And of course, if he had not such a device, the sound would be here and his ear would be in the sky. And with this thing, the sound is spread evenly. And yeah, I can recommend this, not only for tall people, but to have a well-balanced sound on stage. So it has a lot of advantages. That is Hovi with a Deeflexx. Yeah, Matt Steaks, he was actually filming the intro music, and he's an Italian YouTuber that actually did profiles of the AMP1 Iridium edition from BluGuitar, and his pack was called BLUE Guitar Iridium edition. Well, therefore we steal his music for free. This is my revenge. But no, he's a cool guy, all good, you know. I mean, I don't mind if you play an Iridium on your Kemper or Quad Cortex or Tone X or whatever you think. Because in the end, one day you probably go back and think, I have all these kind of models and stuff, and then do I really need it? I heard this a couple of times, then life goes in circles, and then I probably just play the amp. And it sounds even better because you can have a real speaker, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, any more pictures? This was me at the electric stage downstairs, I think it was. There was also a little video, but we showed already, correct? Maybe, maybe not. Or do we have the video? Yeah, let's watch the video. Electric stage downstairs, -1. So Summit has like 3 levels, -1, ground, +1.
So, also, ihr seid alle da für 10 Jahre BluGuitar, meine Story zu hören. Ihr habt es ja schon mitbekommen, der Mitarbeiter Julian Preuß kniet vor euch. Und das Ganze ist nicht nur ein Filmemacher, sondern ist auch ein brillanter Techniker, mit dem ich bis heute Morgen um 4 Uhr meine Zeit verbracht habe. Dann sind wir ins Hotel, jeder in sein Zimmer und hat mal 3 Stunden geschlafen, bevor wir dann hier auf die Messe gekommen sind. Weil wir arbeiten jeden Tag an AmpX. Das ist die meistgestellte Frage, dazu kommt man gleich. Aber zuerst mal ein bisschen Musik zur Entspannung. Okay.
Yeah, so this was one of my songs played on the AmpX. By the way, those flageolet harmonies with the bending, they are quite challenging because you have really to find them because they are so high, and yeah, that's a thing. I see Horst Keller. Horst Keller is in the chat. Hallo Horst. Horst is a German, well, teacher these days. He used to be Mr. Line 6 and maybe still is. We are good friends, very good guy. I will join one of his live streams later this year. So stay tuned for that one. Givi Moroda says, is that an amp switcher on stage for the guitar? No, in the video that we just have seen, it was just the AmpX. I don't know what you mean. We didn't have an amp switcher on stage. No, this is only for headphones. Exactly. Yeah. Horst says, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait either. Which is cool. Hey, let's see a few more pics. So this was downstairs. Christoph Kemper talking about modeling. Here is the inventor of the capturing, campering, and profiling. We both also go back decades, and yeah, I'm the analog and he's the digital German. Here is another group shot with Kai Sonnhalter on the left. He visited the show. Most people maybe know, maybe don't know. Kai was leaving BluGuitar because he became a dad, and the daughter and the wife and his music was a bit too much for a small company like BluGuitar. We all honestly overwork a bit, which is due to the fact that we have a small team and we have to finance a fucking AmpX. So there is not so much money left for that. I can see we have another little video on the Sonic Drive interview. That's something I can show you, which I kind of lately enjoy also. Finish this picture here, sorry. Kai, then there's Gödi, who's always there. He is also a great guitar player, also from Mannheim area. Sometimes he plays. Julian in the middle. Then there's Jay Palmer, the guy with the beard, from Brighton, UK. Also, he's a big George Lynch fan. He has that kind of Eddie meets George Lynch style. Myself, and then a guy whose name is Holzton in the social medias. It's funny, I have seen him a lot lately on concerts, even on concerts that were not official. Scary. I do stuff like that once in a while. And here we go, there's a nice picture of Niels Finkeisen. Niels Finkeisen of number one. And Niels is a great modern rock or metal player. I mean, he plays industrial metal and other cool notes. And he's a super cool guy from Hamburg, Germany, or living now in Hamburg, Germany. He is coming even further up north. There's a little video on the Sonic Drive guys, or on John. You know, you are in this business, and then there are YouTubers that do gear reviews and things. And I sometimes ask myself, what is your motivation? Why is this guy having such a huge amp collection? And I mean, watching the videos, it's like, he is young, but I mean, if he would be older, having a studio and having collected all the amps over years and decades, then I would have an explanation for that. But the thing is, I was simply interested, what is the background of his huge collection? He explains in this little video. You have one of the biggest amp collections that I know here in Europe. And how did the whole thing start? Because usually people have like maybe 4 amps, 3 amps, 6 amps if it comes to... But it seems like there's not a real limit at your place.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind it?
Okay, so yeah, first of all, it's like a part of my personality, all or nothing.
Yeah.
And that's like something that is in my entire life, basically. But I had like a modeler unit that I really enjoyed, but a friend of mine said, yeah, you have to get one amplifier again, just to go back to the source.
Yeah.
And I got one amplifier, and then I was like, oh my gosh, okay.
Now you know.
And then I wanted to have that modeling thing in the real world, and I started to collect more amplifiers and slowly build up the collection from there. And now it got totally out of hand.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that's also a nice twist. I mean, you know, we should be open in any direction. You know, I'm fine with modelers. I used modeling software on my laptop and recorded things for library music. I can play with anything. And to hear that story, that he grew up with a modeler and then got curious about how a real tube amp sounds like, And then he had the experience of a real tube amp, and being so shocked that he finally ended up having an immense arsenal of tube amps. I would simply try Sonic Drive Studio. Do I see? Wait a minute. Maybe I can show you.
Hey guys.
No, this is from
convention.
this is from the show. Let me see if I can have. Yeah.
This amplifier is so crunchy and you really have.
So here I show you his studio in case you haven't seen that. Yeah. Lucas is faster than myself. Look at this picture. I mean, this is what you find inside a modular. And I guess he bought them all because he had those amps in the modular and he wanted to check them out as real beasts. And it's good that I'm I try to become his friend in a way because it gives me access to some amps that I don't have. And that's another thing in this industry. Networking is key. Yeah. So, oh, and I see Dr. McFarlane from Nashville. Yeah. Thanks. Next week, we kind of do the same thing like he was doing in his studio. I will simply have the good old school tube amps here, and we'll show you the Friedman Plex versus the Plexis, which is fun. And of course, I will also do the comparison to Amp1. And maybe I do a real quick teaser. Standby on and on with my Les Paul, and then the rest is coming next week. And while the amps are heating up, for those locals, tomorrow in the Stummsche Reithalle Neunkirchen Rock Anarchy, come and see us because it's gonna be fun. So something is not. So, if you can tell which amp is which, you don't have to see next week's episode. If you can't, or if you're not sure, you have to watch next week's episode because then I will go into the details. And I brought back a lot of things from the show, not only CDs, but also I see the comment about the bridge for the Les Paul. I mean, this is the original 60s, early 60s Gibson bridge, but I met a guy who is doing the whole 9 yards, analyzing the brass, if it's soft or hard, or at what kind of temperature the material has been, and all these kind of crazy things that I need to check when I have the time. So I haven't checked that one yet, but I will do in between my sessions with Julian in the R&D when he's busy measuring things for half an hour or so. I can put it on my other Les Paul and see how it sounds. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. I think this was a fantastic Guitar Summit 2024. If you haven't seen it, watch our walkthrough or my walkthrough with the atmosphere and all the nice booths. I know that I could not even cover everything. That's simply not possible. Maybe I do something next year where I have a little bit of focus on guitars and amps. That's one of the ideas I had when I was kind of driving home and reflecting on what I've done and what could be done. Let's see. Thanks for watching. We have another clip that throws us out from the Friday night gig from the big stage in the Mozartsaal. Enjoy Red House. My house is green, but you enjoy Red House. See you next week. Bye bye. Cheers.
He'll be back. Yeah. Is it too much? Should we stop? You want us to stop?